correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.
Welcome back to Monster of the Week, where Ben, Hagen, Steve, and Ricky continue their adventures in Santa Fest.
How are you turning the bot on? What are you telling it?
Don't you want to know?
I think the listeners want to know.
Ones and zeros.
Okay.
So I will be tonight. I'll be playing the part of Dwight Grabowski. He's a flake, as the playbook for him. So he's the type of guy that is your typical, looks like Seabass from Dumb and Dumber, with the Mack truck hat and the flannel with the vest on top of it, and he kind of thinks that the whole world is connected through Mayberry, actually. So he feels that this is actually the center of the universe, and there's always something going on here, and he's going to find out what it is, and doesn't trust any of it.
In real life, we dubbed the small 9,000 person town I'm from in Kentucky the center of the universe, because it seems like anywhere we go, we end up running into people that somehow have a connection there, and it just shouldn't be. My sister goes to France often and ends up running into people that know about Maysville. Why?
That's wild.
Well, I think Mayberry could also, it has a thriving magical textile industry, which definitely is going to be well known. But I think it could also be very much the center of the universe in another way. Is there a certain property or component of this city that you would like to fill that role of being the center of something important?
Yeah, so there is, you had mentioned the turbines
Yep.
off the coast.
Yep.
But there happens to be, it feels like there's earthquakes that happen here every now and again.
Okay.
And the turbines, he feels that the turbines actually move the island, not within the lake, but within different versions of the lake.
Interesting.
So that's how he thinks that these things kind of slip into being, is that they don't come to us, we go to them.
Got it. Okay. I think that's really cool. And I want to be clear, because the flake can be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, crazy. I can totally work what you just said into being real. Or is this kind of like your paranoid?
No, this is all in his head.
All right. Well, then maybe it's not. But no, cool. All right.
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, nobody believes him, but this is like what he spouts is like, you need to stay away from those turbines, because those things, they send us to other dimensions, and we can't be having these things on our island, right? Because they coming, we keep killing them, and they keep coming back because we keep going to them. If we leave them alone, nothing's going to happen.
If Mayberry sits at the confluence of multiple dimensions and the turbines are shifting it slightly, you're creating cracks between where the other dimensions are, which lets things from that dimension slip into us, and then it maybe shifts back the other way and something from somewhere else comes in. Yeah,
Yeah, so we got to stop all that. We got to shut these turbines down so this does not happen.
That sounds like another good future mission.
I mean, honestly, I think now the turbines actually power portals between different worlds that allow the magical travel to happen, and that this is a way station.
I mean, sometimes it's good. How about over at Blue Jays, right? Those dudes are pretty cool, right? Mm-hmm. But not all of them come here and are cool.
Oh, there's a book series. I can't remember its name, but they've got Sweep in all of them, and it's basically the idea that there's these magical hotels that are connected, and the people who own the hotels and run it have like these cosmic powers if their hotel is alive and healthy, it needs to have guests to be alive and healthy. And so it's this fun concept of you step outside your property and you're a normal, but on your property you can do whatever the hell you want. So yeah, that's a cool. I like that. So you're right. If we end up playing this longer, then that is such a great in for why things keep going wrong and someone is trying to usurp power for this thing. Cool. I love it. Thank you for bringing that to this.
And if you're wanting to, and if we're talking about it being the center of the universe, even just like a major source of power, in Rifts, there's ley lines and ley line nexus points. And I'm sure Mayberry is a nexus for magical energy.
100% I
100%.
was going with it.
Wasn't Northern Gun and the Kingdoms of Magic all in the Michigan area?
The Magic Federation is actually in Kentucky.
Okay. So
But
isn't Northern Gun headquartered in
Northern Gun is
Ishpeming?
in Michigan. Yeah, it's in Ishpeming.
Cool. What else you got for us in regards to Dwight Grabowski?
So he is a fairly avid hunter of just regular hunter, but he's kind of ex-military as well.
Okay.
So he was, at least in his head, he thinks he was special forces, but he was
a
just
cook.
he wasn't even in the military.
Oh,
He was just backwoods hunting and got a hold of some mushrooms one day, and that popped in his brain.
gotcha.
So he carries with him. You know how like cops will take the flashlight and they'll kind of put their handgun like this.
Yeah.
He does that with a hunting rifle. And you see, he always carries kind of strapped on his belt a piece of piano cord with two handles on the end of it.
Okay.
It looks like it is used to hunt with ?
Got it.
And like I said, he's your typical backwoods boy. But he's always spouting off some kind of rhetoric about what's going on in Mayberry. He's about 43 years old. Has always, as far as he's known, been in Mayberry.
Cool.
No other living relatives. He kind of lives on the outskirts of town a bit, where there is a little more wooded areas that he has a cabin out there that is decorated much like Gaston's place, where there's antlers in all of his decorations. And
chairs are antlers. Got it.
Yeah. So that's pretty much where he's at, but he's very aware of his surroundings to the point where he's kind of twitchy.
Gotcha. And that's probably how he's connecting the dots and becoming aware of all this crazy stuff.
Yep. So sometimes he'll be talking to you, all of a sudden in the middle of a sentence, he'll just look in a different direction and continue on with the sentence like nothing ever happened.
How often is he on shrooms? Constantly?
He likes to cook with them.
Okay.
So there's a special word you can throw into your order at Wizard Pizza to get special orders. There's a pizza store in Iowa City when I lived there, Gumby's Pizza, and you could definitely get weed delivered with your pizza if you ordered properly.
Very cool.
Want some extra lettuce on my pizza?
All right. That just sounds gross. But I know what you're saying. Cool. How do you how do you want your character to be brought into the mystery? So last session, one of the characters traded a favor to get a weapon. It wasn't defined. Do you think you would be constituted as a weapon that this person would manipulate into this conflict?
I would say that's actually fairly accurate, because if someone told me that there was a thing that needed to be looked at and we need to get to the bottom of it, and they needed my special skills, right? Because he also likes when people recognize his special skills. He's right there for it.
Perfect. So I think what is going to happen is there is Abraham, who is actually this somewhat evil, magical owner of a textile industry. So it's one of the major industries of this island that basically one of our other characters, Ricky, who plays the character Victor, and I'll have them introduce all their characters to you once the other Steve gets on, basically went and said, hey, like this Ooblix is here. It's muscling in on your territory. We're going to need help. What can you do? And the guy's like, yeah, I'll get you a weapon to help you out with that fight. So I could see Abraham kind of using you a little bit as a barometer of crazy because, he wants to maintain the status quo. He's in the know, big, probably can support you a little financially. In exchange, kind of like uses you as a canary in a coal mine type thing. Does that work for you?
Yeah, I would imagine my relationship with him might be that from my hunting, I bring him pelts for his textile business.
100%. Yeah. I mean, this guy's also, we haven't defined him really beyond his name. Like, he could also just have you like hunting random monsters for him too. Like, he probably wants pelts for other reasons.
Yeah, they're all animals, so this isn't my first rodeo with hunting monsters.
Got it. Cool.
People
I think
say
that's awesome.
hunting deer is harder than with a gun, but you ain't lived till you've gone and hunt them with just trying to choke the motherfucker to death.
Well, my specialty is I use the hunting rifle to immobilize them by shooting them in the leg, and then garrote them.
And here's where we deviate from the Scooby-Doo type story.
Yeah, when they asked me what vehicle I chose, I said I've got a van, a panel van. Let's Scooby-Doo this shit.
But
Well,
you
the
did
good
say it
news-
had a wizard on the side. That's how we got.
Yes, there's a wizard
Pizza.
on the side, and it became Wizard Pizza.
This is really more Onward Bound van than Scooby-Doo van, but very cool, very cool. So I do have a
It's
session.
becoming How to Catch a Murderer van.
True, or only murders on the island. So I do have a session summary from last time that should probably catch you up to the current situation. Why don't we have, because the other Steve should be on hopefully soon. Yeah, what's up?
If you want to recap last session, you might want to wait till other Steve is here.
Correct. I am waiting till the other Steve is here to do the recap. I'm just acknowledging that we can go more in depth to what's previously happened. But I think the most recent recap is probably all Dwight will need to know to function.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I put into our chat kind of all my notes that have my session summaries in them as well. But I couldn't find a great way to just copy and paste them in. So do you guys want to just introduce your characters a little bit? Maybe name what playbook you're using, and you can kind of give a little bit of personality to them. You can go into their mechanics as much as you want, but enough for obviously when Dwight enters a scene to have kind of a sense of how to engage with them. Ricky, you want to go first?
Sure thing. I'm playing Victor, whose playbook is the Monstrous. I modeled him after Sabretooth, only less evil. From Marvel Comics. So he's got claws and sharp teeth. He's it's like I went ahead and deviated from the tough setup that they had because it required you basically to nerf everything else. So I've made him have a 0 toughness and have some other stats that were useful. So I wasn't just combat monkey. And so far it's been quite nice. He's an immortal. He's it's like he owns a villa on it's like near the power plants on that side of the island. That's theorized as our home base. He doesn't have a layer yet. Once he gets a layer, it'll actually be that. But
So you're a
Yes.
monster that lives next to the things that generate the portals.
yes,
Okay.
Not
Point of
suspect
clar-
him at all.
And the villa is the base of operations for the group that's called Those Guys. The rest of the group doesn't realize that Victor actually owns the building. They think they get it as a perk from a prior job that they carried out.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Those Guys are locals who kind of deal with things that end up in the gray space between the magical and the mundane world. So you know your character would be very much aware of them. Cool. Thanks, Ricky. Sorry, Victor. I think that's the big stuff for you. Steve, why don't you give a little bit of a rundown of your character, Donnie?
Yep. I'm playing Donnie Chakowski, who is it's the Crooked Playbook, and he's kind of a information guy, street hustler, little bit of wannabe gangster, um connected to everywhere and everybody. And actually, in looking at the playbook, if Ben's cool with it, there is one of the things I have for my tie-ins to the rest of the group that I worked with someone on a semi-legal or illegal job, which feels like I could have somehow connected you with either information or gear. But like we show up and like, hey, I know you. You know what I mean? Not like,
Yep.
but yeah. So Donnie is very much kind of again, this is sort of like late '90s, so kind of got the kind of the flashy street jacket type kind of gear, not 100%, but a little bit. But yeah, that's kind of Donnie is very much Mr. Contacts.
Sounds good.
Donnie always knows someone that will be able to help out, give information, or facilitate. Very cool. I can't remember. Is everyone okay with using real names on the podcast?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good. Sorry, because I totally was just throwing out names, and I was like, "Ooh, forgot to ask." Hagen, then why don't you tell us about EJ?
Sure. So EJ is a mundane. I'm basically playing him as kind of a braver version of Shaggy. I'm glad you like the Blue Jay car wash idea. It was actually a car wash when I was growing up in my hometown when I was 16. My stepdad did their payroll, and that was my first real job. I did payroll for them on a System 36 mainframe because my stepdad sold mainframes to city municipalities to automate them, and then had work contracts. So he had one and started a local business, and that's what I did. So I've got for my moves, I've got what could go wrong. There we go. Let's get to page. What could go wrong? When I charge into danger without hedging my bets, I get to hold two and can do extra things with them. I have the power of heart, that lets me help somebody when we're fighting a monster, and I automatically help as if I'd rolled a 10, which is great because my cool is not a good stat, which kind of fits with the whole, scaredy cat kind of thing. And then panic button, when I we need to get out of there, I name a route and make a roll for it. I drive a panel van with a wizard on the side. It's advertisement for Pizza Wizard, which is my job. And I'm guessing that I probably know you because you're one of our very good customers and you make requests for weird ingredients like certain mushrooms.
You got
And
the
what is
good.
your character's name again?
Dwight Grabowski.
Perfect. Young Steve, if he ever gets on, is playing a spooky Peter Ruffian, who's an old, kind of worn drunk, kind of that the person who's left standing at the end of a bar fight type look, that kind of tough, grizzled individual. They have magical powers tied to a deal they made in their late teens to an entity called Yuri that they made actually to protect Donnie from. Basically, Donnie had done Yuri dirty, and a pact was made to try to compensate for that. And his magic is often done through the use of, I think he usually pulls out clothes, but cigarettes, cloves, cigars, smoke basically manifests his magical powers that he then does stuff with.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. What? So we've just done a lot of data dumping on you. What questions do you have?
So you guys have all, because in reading this, the connections that people are made are during, setup, right? So you guys have all known each other in the past. Oh, Steve
Correct.
just bowed out.
Yep. No, I'm here.
No, other Steve.
Other Steve.
Ah,
Look, we know the world is all revolving around you, just like it revolves around Mayberry, but
well, hey, look, I've got a big
If you-
head. I'm sorry.
if
It
your
has a
co-host is gonna have the
gravitational
same
pull.
name. So correct. So one of the things I love about Monster of the Week is in character creation, it bakes in how do you know everyone else. So it removes, I had them all kind of meet up in a bar, but it removes that you don't know each other, but you sit down at a bar together type conundrum. So that's what we did.
So the one connection that I don't have, so we've established a connection for Dwight with EJ through pizza delivery. We established a connection with Donnie and me because we've seen each other in the past through dealings. And I'm guessing that I know Victor from probably mistakenly hunting him multiple times.
Yeah, does that work for you, Victor?
Just fine.
We could say that after all the interaction through pizza that I've gone mushroom hunting with you too.
Yep. Yeah, I've taken you in the backwoods over by me. It was a little uncomfortable for you, but because I showed you all the stuff that I had, my trophies and things like that before we went out.
Are these knives supposed to still have blood on them?
Well, yeah. How else are you supposed to season them? It's like
I
a
guess that
flat
makes
top. You got to season them just like a flat top. You leave it on there for a bit. It crusts up, makes a nice shell on it, and the next time you go to use it, perfect.
The shell comes off. Yeah, I get it.
I never saw that on Scooby Doo. Jeez, no, I'm joking. All right, cool. So young Steve has bowed out. I'm assuming we're just gonna still play. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
I'm good that way.
Alrighty then. We will go forwards with that. So last session, Don. Sorry. So if everyone's ready, then we'll just get playing because we were kind of waiting for him at this point. Cool.
Cool.
Alrighty then. Monster of the Week, take 3. Last session, Donnie contacted South in the Code Enforcement Office, learning that Town Hall is at war with itself as of a week ago when the municipal group went dark. Rumors were of odd behaviors and lost memories that spread into the fire department and lastly, the assistant DA's office. Told they were being targeted by something magical, key people were given bronze daggers to protect them against a supposed psychic attack. However, having fended off a group of Santa clones, those guys needed to recover from their fight and sought healing at the magical bathhouse waters of the Blue Jay Car Wash. Victor exchanged a sample of his ancient blood for support from Jake, the owner, who shared that many clients from around the Southtown Redemption Center were coming in suffering from psychic trauma. The Blue Jay was able to create a poultice to aid in tracking the psychic powers, as well as 3 vials of a potion to help protect against psychic attacks. Knowing where the Ooblix was likely located, the party saw additional resources and information. EJ scouted the location, finding a major Santa festival being set up right next to the municipal center. It was already full of Santa clones, and there was clear influx of partying tourists, and identified ritualistic looking markers around the festival area. Victor traded Abraham, his old boss of the magical textile industry, a weapon to help with the upcoming fight, but Abraham would be credited with the removal of the Ooblix from Mayberry. And lastly, Donnie set up a meeting with his friend Morgan, a guardian of Avalon, where he learned that the bronze dagger they had acquired from the assistant DA's office was called a Retribution Reaver, a dagger designed to fight psychic creatures, but worse, that Ooblixes are able to consume souls in order to summon a greater evil, and that this Santa Fest party is likely the guise to collect that necessary power, and it will likely be conducted tonight on the winter solstice. We had left as the group was planning to re-adjourn at their favorite bar, the Gatekeepers Inn. Tavern is probably more of an accurate word than bar. So why don't we say that everyone is kind of converging there? This is, I don't remember the time, but we're going to say it's like afternoonish, because Avalon was going to mobilize their people. They're not able to go after the Ooblix specifically. They're trying to control all the clones running around town, or some believed clones running around town, to give you guys an opening to get at the actual Ooblix itself. So why don't we open on the scene of the tavern? As you remember, this is kind of a bastion for locals to escape all the tourists, all the lights, all the festivals, all the really annoying kind of overdone tourism of the Santa Fest weeks. There's the strong smell of mulled ciders and beefy stews. You guys had described a life-side Bella Grossi in Santa gear. I don't know what that was. One of you guys came up with that.
Bela Lugosi.
That thing. Plastic wreaths are just kind of like tossed places. There's very much a reindeer kind of hunting lodge feel of lights and things all over the antlers. There's a plasticky type tree, a Yule log. Like, it's very much this dive bar Christmas event. There's a bard in a corner doing some gentle, just kind of rhythmic music, and it's a pretty happy, festive area. Donnie was already at the tavern So I would believe that everyone else would be kind of coming here to meet up after they went off and did their own kind of scouting and data collection. So why don't we say the group is together, and I think Dwight would probably be, and you guys have already kind of shared all that you have learned and communicated all of that when Dwight will show up at the Gatekeeper Inn.
Yeah, that's what
Dun dun dun.
Avalon told me they can take care of the clones, but we're going to have to deal with the thing itself.
It's like Abraham promised a weapon to help us take care of everything, but you know how he is.
Well, yeah, who knows what he means by weapon too?
I know, cuz.
So Eric, you can kind of enter whenever, however you want. You can already be there for all I care.
Sure. So you'll find me. So you guys are in where now again?
The Gatekeeper Inn. It's this nice tavern, dive bar-y kind of bastion for the magical local community. They typically sit at a table in the back. There's lots of different festive drinks. Like, it really is a very welcoming type place.
So I'll if you're all there, I'll actually like stride in kind of through it. Through the door and just stop as I walk in and take a look around.
So you see a nice long mahogany bar along one edge. There's actually kind of cauldrons with ciders and hot chocolate and a stew on there. The fire is kind of blazing in the back corner, so it's like that nice warmth after a snowy, cold day. There's lots of hunting lodgy type stuff all over the place. Gentle music in the background. It's a bard, a live person actually playing music. And I think you probably were told by Abraham to track down Victor, who would kind of fill you in on what was going on. And so you'd see Victor and the group at a table in the back.
So I imagine when I walk into this type of place, it's kind of like the record scratch as I walk in, because I don't not carry my rifle with me.
Yeah.
So it's slung over my shoulder, my back, and Victor, I assume all these guys are sitting in the corner. And
Yeah.
as I walk in, I'm like, you! And I just point at him.
Shoot a look at Victor. Don't tell me.
Well, I mean,
You
he is
again!
lucky. Indeed. Indeed it is, Dwight.
How you been, Dwight?
All right. You know who this guy is?
Well, Victor, he's my cousin.
Wait a minute. How did you get a cousin like that? What's your sister been doing?
You leave my sister out of this.
Well, I can't. You said he's your cousin.
A long time ago. Yeah, like cousin.
Several times removed, yes.
Yeah.
Would it
Going
also be
back to the
aunt,
old
not
country.
At least his
sister?
family tree branches, unlike Ted over there at the bar.
Well, yeah, I know his is more like a wreath.
Ted Joseph, I know it's a holiday, guys, but leave me out of this, okay? I can't help what my family did.
All right, Ted.
You didn't have to take your cousin to prom, though, Ted.
Look, all right, I'm sorry. No one else would go with me. It was that or my mom.
I mean, I suppose that's the lesser of two evils.
In that case, yeah, cousin's probably the better.
That's what I said. Gosh.
All right,
So-
well, pull up a seat, Dwight.
He's
I'm
just fighting
assuming-
hard not to start more shit with Ted.
Abraham sent me to come look for Victor.
Well,
again.
Well, then you're gonna get to help with an Ooblex infestation we've got. It's gonna be all
Say
kinds of
what
fun.
now?
Psychic demon. Think a
Psychic-
giant brain.
peppermint goo.
Can you wait? It's goo?
Well, sort of. Okay. Here's what happens. So apparently, when the Ooblex thing, it takes memories, and when it takes all of them, it kills the person, but it creates a clone that is made up of goo. But then they shoot peppermint cannonballs at you, and it's nasty.
Don't
It's
forget
like a
candy
quick
canes.
foam that forms into a candy cane flavor and shape.
Hmm.
Nasty.
It should be just as confusing as it sounds.
And I'm gonna look over and actually notice that EJ is there. I'm like, hey man, you're not working tonight?
No, I'm not, but I'm gonna be working tomorrow, so hit me up with that special order.
All right, man. You got it. You should try these on these, especially Victor over there. I think it could help him out a lot.
I think Donnie and Victor just sort of share this look of like, what the hell?
So, what do we know about this thing? And I'd like to try to use my, as we're starting this out, kind of the connect the dots.
Perfect. So that we're totally going to use it. Technically, just for your awareness, I don't know if we're ever going to play this again or not. When it says at the start of a mystery, so this would have been like 2 sessions ago. You weren't here for it, obviously, so we're going to use it this time. It's also a fun one, so I kind of let people use it situation dependent, just because it's fun and it rewards you for choosing it. But let's make your roll.
All right, so it's 2d6, right?
Correct. So every roll is 2d6, and then you add the corresponding characteristic modifier. So in this case, it's plus your sharp.
All right, so that's a 2. So that's a 12.
Awesome.
So I can hold 3, it says.
Correct. So in the system, when they say hold, that basically means you have credits equal to that number. And then typically what's going to happen is underneath the move, there's going to be a list of prompts. Now you can either ask those directly or you can come up with your own thing. As long as I don't think it's too overpowered a question, I'm then going to provide you with answers. So right now you get to ask me basically 3. You can stick to those questions, or like I said, feel free to deviate a little bit.
All right. So I think I got some of this from what they've already figured out, right? So like I already got that this person, how is this person connected to current events or more than what they're doing or saying?
Correct. So that is the other problem of coming in a little bit late. This is supposed to kind of prompt you a little bit on where to go.
Yep.
So the assistant DA was found dead in their office, and that's how these guys were brought in originally. So this would have been very useful back then.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, I guess I'll use the one when and where will the next critical event occur?
Cool. So I've already kind of told you guys a little bit of that. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to deviate and tell you something different so it's still useful. What is actually happening and if it would be also cool if you could kind of have a narrative of how your character puts this together. But so you already know that at the solstice this evening, the Ooblex is going to do some kind of ritual, consume all this power, and then open a summoning. But what wasn't known yet by anyone is that it's actually going to launch a massive attack against City Hall with its clones leading up to this festival to try to break down all the support systems of the city so that it can funnel more people into that area and get more souls for it. So you're aware that there's going to be an attack against City Hall, and it's going to be happening this evening.
So
In the next couple of hours.
So I think the way I would connect this is on my way over here. I noticed like these Santa clones, they were in one area, but now I think they're kind of like, they're coming from all over the place, heading in that direction.
For sure.
And it doesn't seem right.
So these clones are almost like zombie-esque, or like really drunk kind of person, like you know. And there's lots of normal tourists all dressed up as Santa Clauses. But I definitely agree. Your character would start being like that. You know, that's not normal behavior.
So I noticed on my way over here that there's a lot of activity heading over towards City Hall. Now we get them tourists that come around. It's somewhat normal, but then you got all the other drunkards. And I think something's going to go down over at City Hall. All the fields are going over that way too. So I think that we should maybe head on that direction and try to get them tourists out of there. Because if this thing feeds on psychic energy, you said, it may not be the best place for them all to be at.
Shit.
Now the other part of that is if all the clones are there, then that means it's also vulnerable.
Right. So you leave them cloners and the tourists can take a hike.
Those are the choices we've got. I don't
mean,
like the
I say
choices, but
both.
I mean, if we can take out the Santas, that'll definitely help out.
Is I'm gonna, as one of my other ones, I want to know how we know to handle these clones, right? So what do I think would be the best way to handle these?
Gotcha. So you, by watching them and kind of their movements and how they react to the things around them, you saw that they really avoided open flames. They really avoided or respond negatively to really strong sounds or kind of sonic energies. So, like a siren went by, you see them kind of warble, or if they went by a really, a certain type of music, it's usually a higher pitched sound. You saw that really bothered them. You get the sense they kind of are moving more like a hive. So it's clear that they're not necessarily like thinking for themselves, but it's more like they're kind of peons or something. They're acting as instruments for something central. So killing the Ooblix would kill all the clones, or you could try to kind of cut all the tentacles of these clones, so to say.
So I was driving down here in my pickup, and one of them bastards stepped out in front of me, and I honked real loud at it, and it did not like that. So I ran it over. Just kidding. No, I didn't. No, I just honked at it, and it kind of moved out of the way. But I didn't like the noise, and it stayed away from, like, some people were having a little bonfire to celebrate, and it stayed away from those too. So it sounds like fire and noise are going to be our best weapons here. But I'm thinking that they all kind of, you ever seen how them geese fly at the head, right? And the other ones follow that head? I think we got to cut off the head. I don't think these other little ones are the most important. We got to get to that ooblet, whatever that thing. Yeah, that thing. We got to get to that thing and take it out. Now, I would suspect if the little ones don't like that fire or the noise, maybe the big one don't like it even more. Just a thought.
So we're in a bar with a lot of rot gut.
Yep.
Cheap alcohol. I'm just saying.
Hey, Ted.
Okay. I got an
Yeah?
idea here.
You might be a hero tonight.
No, I've always wanted to be a hero. Oh, this is so exciting. What can I do for you guys?
Can you load up all that booze in the back of my truck?
I mean, you're gonna pay for it, right? Like, I can't just give you all the booze.
Yeah. I mean, it'll get taken care of somehow.
I feel like saying it's going to be taken care of doesn't really tell me anything.
Look, Ted, do you want to be a hero or not?
I mean,
Because
I really
see you sitting
do.
here. You got all these other people here. They keep picking on you. Now, I like you, Ted. That wreath joke was just a joke. It wasn't meant to mean no harm, although accurate. So you get to be the hero. Would you like to? You ever heard of a Molotov cocktail?
Yeah, of course.
You know how to make them.
Everyone does.
All right. So that's what we're going to do tonight. You're going to be a hero.
So I need you to make me a manipulate someone check. So that is a charm check. And
But
if you, yeah. Oh
I
no.
see it fits all together. So I can use my sharp to charm someone when
100%.
I manipulate them.
I think you totally also did that from a narrative roleplay perspective. So I love it. Go ahead and make that roll for me.
All right. Another 12.
Gosh, dang. Well, guys, you went from never succeeding at rolls to now having someone who doesn't fail a roll. Yeah. Oh my God. I've always wanted to make a Molotov cocktail. This is going to be so much fun. I love a good project. And I think Ted suddenly kind of does this writhing, and he Ted is actually a shapeshifter. Ted is actually a really beastly guy. He actually transforms into this thing with multiple arms. He gets really beefy and big. His voice kind of drops. Oh, this is gonna be so cool! And he starts basically with each of his arms, he's doing multiple Molotov cocktails all at once. This is gonna be awesome. Just make sure you tell everyone that the gatekeeper inn supplied all of these. Okay, this is gonna be some great advertising.
Yeah, man, you can slap your card on there when you toss them. I don't care.
Love it. Yeah, he's got little stickers. He's putting them all over the place.
And
guys,
Dwight leans over to EJ and is like, "That's what you get for cousin loving."
I don't think I knew that about Ted, but the cousin thing would explain it. You're right.
So I have an idea that kind of ties into this and may just add fuel to the fire. No pun really intended, but
Fire!
Okay, I've got the home ground thing, and it's Christmas, almost New Year's. So I'm thinking Donnie knows someone who runs a fireworks shop. And I feel like a load of bottle rockets and Roman candles would be really useful about now.
I mean, it's not even 7 months till the 4th of July, so yeah.
Well, New Year's. A lot of people set off fireworks New Year's. So I'm thinking
people around here set off fireworks because it's Friday.
So I'm thinking I just kind of look at EJ and hey EJ, come with me. We got to go do something.
Cool.
And as I'll explain my plan as we head out to the van to go load it up.
For sure. So you guys have a couple hours before the attack on City Hall starts. You probably have about 4 to 5 hours before the big festival really gets going. And then a couple hours into that is when the thing is going to go down. So just want to be very deliberate in the things you're choosing to do are going to be eating up your time. Like the Molotov cocktail production is going to take until the assault on City Hall. Getting these fireworks, depending on kind of some of your roles, might take longer. So you might be out of play for the town hall battle.
I was honestly kind of thinking of just going and breaking into the place and taking them.
This is a major city in the middle of winter with tons of snow, tons of festivals. I'm just acknowledging it's not I'm going to quickly walk next door and get this thing. But yeah, you're totally you can try to break in and do whatever you want. I'm just acknowledging there is a little bit of a time clock. That is my only goal in this.
No, well, that's what I'm thinking. Or could we turn it a little bit that again, Donnie knows someone who was supposed to put on a fireworks show, say over City Hall.
Sure. There's
And
probably there's going to be fireworks probably at the Santa Fest event. Like, you tell me, where are the fireworks?
well, I
You
don't
know
want
the
to
guy that's doing the fireworks show.
don't want to
Yeah.
overstep it, but like so to speak, maybe there's a stash around back, for lack of a better word to say it, that
Steve, I'd rather you overstep and me say yes, but than you not at all. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think that City Hall was totally planning to have some fireworks for the winter solstice. There's definitely going to be a light display for the Winter Fest party that's happening also.
Okay.
Because this is a magical community and the winter solstice is more important to them than the actual Christmas event. So this is just kind of their cover for it.
Yeah, Christmas is still another 4 days away. This.
Correct. So they make a big deal about this stuff, but Christmas is kind of the way they justify and hide it. So yeah, wherever you want there to be fireworks, there can definitely be a good supply of fireworks.
All right. Well, okay. I have a plotted bind.
Why don't we
Look,
say that Seth,
I
your
was
buddy?
going there actually.
Okay, cool.
I'm thinking like City Hall is probably like this big 3-4 story brick stone thing, right? With a big flat roof, and they were going to set everything off up there, but obviously they're not already up there. But because it's wintertime and whatever, they stash them in some building Seth is in charge of behind City Hall. So
I mean, he's code enforcement. I feel like code enforcement would have to be very involved in fireworks.
yeah. So I'm just gonna call Seth.
Yeah, for sure.
Be like, hey Seth, Donnie, the city kind of needs another favor.
I totally forget voices, so I'm
I
just
don't
going to
remember.
apologize in advance to the people listening to this. I'm the city. What are you talking about?
Okay, look, I don't got time to explain it all, but let's just say, there's gonna be some bad shit going down on City Hall pretty soon.
Yeah, there's a lot of really drunk people in Santa outfits coming here. They should be going to the big Santa party. I don't know why they're coming to town hall.
Well, look, okay, what I need you to do, get all them fireworks that Wisniewski's got for the big show tomorrow night.
Yeah,
Get them up on the roof of City Hall, like stat, because we're gonna have to use them.
I can get my people to do that, no problem.
All right, we're headed your way, but yeah, we need them up there, and then is there another stash over by the festival somewhere? Because we might need to use those too, but we'll need them there.
Yeah, less fireworks, more like the Roman candle, sparkler type stuff, but there's a
Perfect.
lot of pyrotechnics over there. There's a giant stage. They got some bands and DJs. There's an ice skating park. We even got people rappelling down a building with shit flying off of them. Like, it's going to be a big event.
All right. Yeah. Look, we're worried about the fireworks now, but some of that other stuff's going to be useful too. So, look, just can you tell your people to do what we ask them so that things don't get worse?
Yeah, but since we talked last,
Thanks.
people are acting weirder. Just so you know, like there's more memory concerns and stuff.
Yeah, that's what this is about.
Oh,
Gotta go.
yeah.
All right,
All right.
bye. Click.
Yeah. So there's going to be a big stash of fireworks kind of set up on the roof of City Hall. City Hall is probably several stories, and it's a big building. This is kind of the contemporary to New York City type stuff. So lots of parks, big buildings, etc. Cool. So what are you as a group going to be doing? Actually, sorry. Dwight, you have one more question to ask.
Yes. So, I I guess the last question is trying to, while we're doing this, putting the dots together to see if I can figure out, while this is all going to be going down at City Hall, where the most likely place that Oobleck would be at City Hall.
So the Oobleck is going to be at the municipal center next to the Santa Festival. So the Oobleck is sending its clones to town hall to kind of pull the police, the first responders. Like, it's trying to just create a distraction. City Hall had also been collecting resources to kind of combat it. So it's trying to pull those people away from the festival so that way it can do its ritual and consume all of the normal, the tourist souls. So the Oobleck is at the Southtown Municipal Center.
Okay, so we need to evacuate the civilians from the city center. And
it's a city park, yeah.
City park, yeah.
The
So
Santa Festival Park, yeah.
Yeah, we need to get that going and get them out. And I feel like throwing Molotov cocktails might get some odds running.
You know, when people are partying, they might just think that's part of the festivities. But yeah. Cool.
It's not a party till everything's on fire.
Accurate.
Well, and this is really, the Santa Fest is really just this like drunken bar crawl, lots of lights, loud music. Like, it's really meant to just milk tourists of all their money, and just really kind of that obnoxiously kind of like over the top stuff. Cool. Victor, EJ, what are you guys kind of thinking about or planning, or what else do you guys want to do before kind of going into this conflict?
Hey, EJ. What kind of system that van got in it?
Oh, for sound?
Yeah.
Well, it's got some pretty good upgrades. I put a new amp in like 3 months ago.
Okay. I got something on my brain. But not to tramp on Victor.
That is a very good idea, cuz. So
We got a Blues Brothers and drive around and advertise.
No, I'm thinking.
Gotta get the word out about the pizza.
No, remember what he was saying about the sound?
high pitched sounds, yeah. Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas." That high note, that'd probably do it.
Oh yes.
So if we could
I'm
somehow,
pretty sure doing that at loud enough volumes would break the Geneva Convention.
Sometimes you have to do evil.
now we could just figure out a way to make the CD skip for just that part. Is that something within the realm of magic? It is that we could magically scratch the CD such that it would stick and skip on just like an extended clip back high notes?
Yeah. Magic can do a lot of weird, crazy, horrible, backfiring things.
So would we have to say a weird roll for that?
Do any of you actually do magic?
No, but I do have a high weird stat.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that you cast magic.
I've got claws,
We
though. I
could-
can go, shh.
We could also try going to the record store and see if they have it on vinyl.
Mundane for the win. Yeah, for sure.
Well, you got
Then
a
just throw
turntable of
a
that thing?
portable record. Oh, I got one at back of my apartment. We could just, and it's portable, so you could just plug it in with a lighter adapter, and you're good. It might, we'd be sitting still for this, right?
I don't know.
I mean,
Probably not.
I was, well, we'll make Pete hold it. Lessen the bumps that way.
Cool. All right. So I think you and I do think it's going to probably take some help. So I think probably you and Donnie are going to spend this time kind of setting up your van with a better sound system and the ability to make loud, glaring, annoying music. And it's very much like a treble type thing.
I'm just asking, but I'm thinking this would be a thing in this era with stereo systems. There probably are like test tapes of just specific tones that you would
like a reference tape from the audio file
exactly.
stereo.
Like that actually makes sense.
Sure. I mean, aren't there
Although-
CDs at this point? Like,
Oh, wait, you said this is the 90s, right?
yeah, Steve, do you know what a CD is? I know you have trouble with technology. It's this round thing that is shiny on one side.
Oh, that means that maybe over in the import section of the record store they have Merzbow, and then we don't need the Mariah Carey.
I like the idea that you guys are doing Christmas music. I think that is awesome.
No, that is cool.
So I think, unfortunately, you just find Now This Is Christmas Music Volume 1. It's the CD that I think you guys come up with. But it's somehow your system is distorted, so it's only playing like the treble. It's got no bass to the music. Cool.
Is Dominic the donkey on there?
100%.
Just hee-haw, 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 over and over again.
Track listing in the out of game.
I think Victor is very much getting earplugs. As a monstrous, his hearing is very sensitive.
There's literally one of those. I did not know that this was a thing.
Perfect. All right. So I think Dwight, you probably help out a little bit with the Molotov cocktails. I think that we see EJ and Donnie getting the van all prepped, probably getting a couple more speakers set up on it. And it is getting close to the time when the attack on City Hall is going to begin. What are you guys doing?
So are we splitting the party? Are we all going to deal with City Hall and then we going to deal with the city center? Because they seem like they're happening roughly at the same time.
It was my understanding that the City Hall thing was happening a couple hours beforehand.
Correct.
Yeah, it's a couple hours beforehand, but basically that's also the best time to attack the Oobliks.
Yeah, because he's weakened because everybody else isn't there.
Correct.
So we do the City Hall thing to distract and then run south.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Whatever
Well, on the
you
way
want
to City Hall, Wizard Pizza's on the way, so EJ's calling in an
Get some of them mushrooms, man.
Oh.
Got it. So you guys are you guys gonna only go in the van, or are you gonna bring your truck and the van?
No, the truck.
I think we're taking both.
Okay. You guys are going to step outside of the tavern, and you see that night has fallen. There are just tons of Christmas and holiday lights everywhere. So the town is glowing, but it's starting to snow, and it's a heavy snow. And there's already a ton of snow on the ground as well. So you know that the city's municipal centers, which are already compromised, are going to have even more difficulty clearing this snow. So utilizing vehicles is going to be potentially difficult. So you are able to start making your way towards City Hall. Gosh, what kind of check would this be?
Are there fate points or anything like that in this game?
Kind of. they're first off, you don't really need them because you can kind of just say, "Hey, I'd like this thing to be there," and as long as it's not like blowing up a moon, I'm probably going to say yes. But there's also something called luck points. So basically, what happens is if you fail a roll, and just for your education, you get XP by failing rolls, so rolling a 6 or lower. But you can also cross off a luck point, and that roll becomes a 12. The thing though is once you use up all your luck, you're out of luck, and basically really bad stuff starts happening to you, and or you get killed.
Look, EJ made it to the pizza place.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Now I'm hungry. Cool. So you guys are trying to fight your way through these snowy streets full of drunken Santa Clauses and Santa clones. So I would like some kind of roll to get a sense of how quickly you guys are getting to town hall. I think like an act under pressure might be fitting.
Could
but
EJ
you-
make a sharp roll so that
Yeah.
because he knows the best route to get there?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. And I guess technically, Dwight, you're the other one that's driving, unless you let someone else drive your truck, which would seem very out of character.
Yeah, nope. So
Higher than usual.
I was going to petition for sharp as well because I would have put chains on my my truck prior to this if I knew it was going to snow.
100%. 100%.
All right.
And unless one of you guys rolls like an Uber failure, this is just getting a sense. Ooh, all right. Well, that is a 6.
It is a 6.
So right now, what's going to happen is you're driving along, snow is getting more, and some drunken Santas are like stumbling all over the place, and suddenly a dump truck just comes barreling out of nowhere, and you have to swerve to miss it, Dwight, and you go into an uncontrolled kind of slide, and your truck gets stuck in a snowbank.
Oh no. All right. All right.
So-
So, was there anybody in there with me? I imagine Ted was.
You're bringing Ted with you?
Yeah, I told him he could be a hero.
Fair enough.
I always need a sack pawn if I have to.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Wow! It's a good thing you missed that dump truck.
It is. Now, I seen you had all them arms, man. We might need those to dig out of this.
Yeah. I mean, we're in here pretty good. It might take some time to do that. You said we were in a hurry.
We are in a hurry, man. I can try to get us out. I'm gonna try to rock it. Can you give us a push?
Sure, I can definitely try that.
He
Or
can
hear
dig,
me
you can pour
out.
that bag of kid.
Yeah,
Or
man.
hear me out. We could throw some of these Molotov cocktails and it'd help melt the snow.
I mean,
The van is also going to be near you, so you could potentially shift stuff to the van as well if you want to leave your truck.
you're talking crazy talk now. I'll leave my truck. So,
All right.
I will light up a couple of those cocktails. And is there like a lamppost around or something near here?
Sure.
I'm gonna smash them against a lamppost and try to melt the snow.
Perfect. All right. So that's going to take you a little bit of time. So you fall behind. The people in the van, do you guys keep going or do you stop to try to help Dwight?
We should probably go ahead and get there so we can get set up and have the basics ready, and then they'll
Gotcha.
bring their.
Gotcha.
That's true.
I can
like
bail out.
two-prong it.
I can
Got it.
bail out to help Dwight.
Okay. Yeah, you why don't you do that? We'll get. Yeah, well, because I gotta get up with this stuff for the Seth. Yeah, okay. You
Got
do that.
it. So the van, you guys keep going. It's slow going, and you're able to finally get to City Hall. You pull up outside of it. You know, there's kind of this open park in front of it, and there's lots of parking. So you're kind of across that, but you see that there's already a battle going on. Donnie, Man, so many D names. Donnie, you are able to kind of make out what looked to be some of the town hall employees, as well as some of Avalon's troops, and they're fighting this kind of horde of Santas that are throwing these candy cane colored weapons, and they have candy cane kind of colored spears and swords, and they're kind of fighting on the steps in front of City Hall.
All right, EJ, I think you hit the speakers. I got to get up to the roof. And so I think Donnie's going to hop out and head, somewhere like there's an access ladder somewhere around the side or something that he knows about that he can just scarf up to the roof and then try and find,
Arf up to the roof?
just climb up the thing and I'm looking for like a box of Screamer bottle rockets.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, EJ, how are you doing this?
Well, I figure we got what we probably did is we put a bigger amp in, and then we put like a big PA fucking speaker, so we can open the side door and just ram that PA speaker, the sound from it, out at people. So I tell Pete to cue up the glitch, and
Pete's bailed, so you're by yourself.
Oh, okay. I thought he was going to hold.
Oh, Pete, you were saying Pete's in the car. My bad. Sure, Pete can do that.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. We get Steve involved somehow.
Yeah.
So tell him to cue up the glitch, and I'm just going to try to go do like a drive-by of the battle and just blast the music out.
Cool. Are you trying to like drive over people, or are you just like driving around the kind of the fight?
I'm trying to drive near them, and if I get some of the evil Santas, I'm not so worried about.
Cool. So I'd like you to
I'm trying
make
not to hit regular people though.
Yeah. They're basically all the defenders are kind of on the steps going up towards City Hall, and there's the mob of kind of the clone Santas are on kind of the street and the walkways in front of it trying to push their way up. Think of the most recent Dune movie where they're fighting on that stairwell. They're much better trained, but they're just outnumbered significantly.
Well, see, everybody might not realize that these are not real people anymore. So I don't want EJ to be like people that would see it because it's a very recognizable van. Don't want to think EJ's a murderer, just killing all these people. So I'm going to drive near people and just blast them with music.
I mean, these things are vomiting up candy cane weapons, but you're right. So make me an act under pressure roll for me. And this is going to give us a sense of, this is nerve wracking. Can you actually drive your vehicle in these bad environments around this stuff and not get hit?
That will be the trick. Would you say I'm charging into immediate danger?
I think based off of how you described it, I would lean away from yes, because you said you're deliberately trying to avoid danger.
Well, I'm trying not to run people directly over. I'm trying to get close without looking to people that don't know, because there might be people that are far enough away they don't see exactly what's going on.
Would you deliberately ram a Santa clone? If you could tell it was a Santa clone, would you hit it with your van?
I mean, probably.
Then I'd say yes. I think you're going into danger.
Okay. So then I will, that would fall under what could go wrong. So
a lot of stuff can go wrong. I'd feel that's a very accurate thing.
That gives me a +2 on an act under pressure.
Very cool. Make that roll for me.
Which is good because my cool is -1. So
And could you just make sure to read out your results for the
2d6 plus
podcast?
1, got an 8.
Got an 8. Nice. All right. So on an 8 for act under pressure, the keeper's going to give you a worse outcome, hard choice, or a price to pay. Do you have a preference of which one of those I choose, or do you have an idea of what you might want to happen in this situation?
Well, if you had something happen to the van, like
It just got
that
cleaned
could,
too.
it just got cleaned. It's got that great paint job.
Yeah.
Like not totaled, I wouldn't think, but like something like
Definitely dented. I think the wizard on the side kind of gets scraped a little bit. I think you end up actually kind of like, because it's really bad weather and this van is not good for driving, on snow. So I think you're fishtailing, and I think you've sideswiped a couple Santas. So now you have this like just sticky, sugary candy cane ooze all over your van. So I think we see EJ kind of weaving this van kind of around this cluster of Santa clones. It's definitely disrupting the masses. But you can see that the van is taking wear and tear. So who knows how long it will be able to sustain this?
the ooze is making the wizard look like the Wicked Witch of the West at the end of Wizard of Oz, just melting away.
Yeah, and I think it's starting to like gum up different things on the vehicle, so it's starting to smoke a little bit. Perfect. So we're gonna hop back to Donnie. Donnie, I need you to make me a tough roll. It's cold, it's windy, it's snowing. You are trying to do a lot of physical exertion quickly to get up to the roof of this place.
Okay. I don't have anything to add to it.
EJ,
Oh.
what is the song? What is the Christmas song that you are currently blaring to annoy the clone Santas?
We had discussed the All I Want for Christmas high note
Yeah, you
from
want to do
Mariah
that?
Carey. Yeah, glitch that one.
I mean, I feel like you could definitely have like a mixer on board, so you've just kind of like boosted it. So like the entire song is just shifted several octaves up.
Have you ever heard the Fleming and John mashup version of Misty Mountain Hop with Walking in a Winter Wonderland?
I don't.
It's bizarre, but that has some pretty high not like stupid high vocals, but Robert Plant high-esque vocals.
I don't need it to be like literally like mechanically it's the high pitched sounds. I'm just more interested in us having like an annoying song playing that's every now and then there's a high pitched noise, so every now and then the clones are like glitching almost.
It's like Baby Shark with Jig.
Yes.
Jingle Shark.
Uh-oh. Let's not get copyright violations here.
I have kids. That song's so.
I said
Getting
jingle.
flashbacks here.
Customized. Value added. Whatever that.
Very cool.
All
right, Donnie,
so,
what'd you roll?
I rolled a 6.
So Donnie, you are struggling. The snow is up to your waist. You're having to like battle your way in. The rungs are frozen. You're partially up, and it's slippery. It's frozen. You are having difficulties getting to where you need to go. I don't want to take your phone. So you're slow getting there, but something negative is also going to happen to you. What bad thing do you encounter on your way to try to get to the roof of City Hall?
maybe he's like 2/3 of the way up, and there's actually like an ice dam in the, because I imagine it's like one of those caged safety ladders, and there's like an ice dam just fully blocking it.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah. So you're freezing, you're shivering. It's like, why'd City Hall have to be so freaking tall? Like, why couldn't they have put an elevator in? Blah blah. And then you hit this ice dam. What does Donnie do?
Well, here's because that fail also filled up my experience bar.
Oh, I am excited.
So I'm trying to look and see.
So what I'll do is I'll come back to you then, Steve. I'll give you a little bit of time to kind of look at that. And I think it would be awesome if your experience helped you overcome this obstacle. I think that'd be so fun. But if it doesn't, don't worry about it. Very cool. So we're gonna snap back, and we see this incredible. What kind of truck is it, Eric or Sky? Dwight? I didn't ask what type of truck it was.
1970s like Ram.
Got it. I'm guessing it's like really well maintained. Like this thing is just beautiful and perfect.
It's got that front brush cage on it.
Love it.
The light rack on top.
Yeah. So I think you
Like the
totally
RC
have
light rack.
You totally have like a gearbox
AC
on it. You have some, you have like all the stuff on it. So
Headers.
So I think you're going to be able to get this truck out, especially with the help from Victor, as well as Ted. And you've definitely, you know how to use Molotovs. You're able to melt snow. You're able to get yourself out. So I will ask this: are you doing this safely, or are you doing this recklessly? Reckless could be quicker, but there can be negative outcomes. Safely, slower, but more guaranteed.
Do I look like the kind of guy that does things safely?
Yeah, but you love your truck, and that seems to be your greatest possession. So that might be the one area you do stuff safely.
I do, but it gives me an opportunity to fix it up again.
Ooh, got it. So this isn't like really. I'm kind of like improving a little bit with this system here. What I am thinking is, I think an act under pressure would be appropriate. Read a bad situation, or I'd even say maybe protect someone, because you're kind of trying to protect your vehicle while getting it out of the snowbank.
I think it fits well with my character to be acting under pressure, and I have a -1 cool, so I'm rolling that because it's going to be awesome.
Real quick, we do have Victor there who is helping you. So I do want to let Victor make a help out roll, and see if they're able to give you some benefit to your roll. So Victor, if you want to go ahead and roll me 2d6. If you get a 7 to 9, you're able to get the vehicle out, but you're going to have a little bit of a negative impact on you. A 10 or greater, you're able to give a +1 without any negatives. And if you get a less than a 7, you basically have a negative outcome, but you're not able to benefit the situation.
All right, I've got +1 cool, so that's useful here.
Perfect.
Rolled a 10.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Well, rolled a 2 with modifier.
Perfect. So, Victor, you are successfully helping push this vehicle out. How is Victor doing that? Have you kind of like hulked up a little bit and you're doing that? You've been around forever. You're from a snowy place. You know how snow works. How is Victor assisting in this situation?
Victor has grabbed a piece of kind of plywood nearby,
Sure.
and is kind of using it to help like lever. It's like the tires so that it actually gets traction and can get out.
Love it.
All the time he's angered over the fact that he's getting snow all over his clothes.
Love it. Yeah, because your guy's pretty well dressed.
All right, so that's a +1 to this for the leverage of the 2x4.
Correct.
All right, so that's going to wipe out my -1. I got a 9er.
Okay. So you are able to get your truck levered out of the snowbank back onto the road. I do think that unless do you have a really good idea of what you'd like to do for the worst outcome, hard choice, or price to pay for this?
Yeah, so I think that whole brush cage on the front comes ripped off, as well as the
Gotcha.
front bumper.
Gotcha. And I think you've had to use up a moderate amount of your Molotov cocktails, so you're not going to have as much ammo for that, if you will, going forwards.
Yep.
Cool.
And all right, boys, get back in. Let's go.
Perfect.
Victor
All right.
hopped in the bed.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. So Steve, are you in a place to kind of decide how you're spending your XP?
Yep. I think I figured it out.
Cool.
So kind of bear with Donnie's up in this cage and it's blocked.
Snow's blowing, wind's hailing,
Right.
Annoying high-pitched Christmas music in the background.
And Donnie's always carried in the pocket of his jacket his lucky rock, just because he thought it was his lucky rock.
Okay.
Well, all of a sudden, he can feel it start getting hot. And
Okay.
he's kind of like, and so he grabs it. And what I'm doing mechanically is I took the imp stone artifact,
Okay.
but he just thought it was his lucky rock for all this time.
Got it.
So I need to make a magic roll to try and summon the minor demon that's bound to this imp stone.
Love it.
So
if it's all right, I think this is going to be tied back to Yuri, since that was the magical entity that you backstabbed. So I think that this stone was maybe something you sticky fingered when working for him.
Okay.
If that works for you.
Sure.
Perfect.
So I have to make a weird roll. And because it kind of fits and I kind of want to do it, I was going to spend a luck point on that if it didn't succeed.
Sounds good. Though I get to bring yet someone else from your past into the story.
You kind of already have, sort of.
Yeah, good point. I guess I did burn that one.
I'm not saying it has to be that. I'm just saying.
No, you're good. You're good.
So basically, I'm going to have this. I've got two minds here. I think one is to have the demon just sort of melt out this ice block, but then also, or possibly if both is too great, just have the demon go up and shoot fireworks down on the crowd of fighting Santa clones.
For sure. I think it is gonna depend a little bit on how well you roll.
Well, I rolled a 5, but like I said, I was going to spend I had
got
already
it.
decided like beforehand that if I failed the roll, I was just going to spend the luck point.
Got it. Okay, so you're spending the luck point to make it successful.
Yes.
Got it. So I think you like the way you're having to hold on to the bars, which are freezing because you don't have gloves on. The stone is kind of like digging into your side, and so you reach in, you pull it out, and it's suddenly kind of the stone turns to smoke and manifests into this little avatar that's standing in your hand, looking at you.
Point of order, because my weird is -1, I think it technically becomes an 11, not a 12.
No. So when you roll, your total is done, and then you use your luck to say, nope, that roll is actually a 12.
Okay.
So yeah, so this little avatar kind of manifests on your hand. Right. I knew it was only a matter of time before you came begging me for help because I am awesome.
Who the? Whatever. Look, I got two things that I need to do. I either need to get through this big chunk of ice up onto the roof, or I need you to go up there and shoot all them fireworks down at all them Santa clones down on the street.
So the thing kind of like looks at its, its smoke, obviously, so it doesn't have any. Kind of looks at its fingernails, right? And since I'm amazing, what's in this for me?
Well, I'm not exactly. You was a rock in my pocket. So, look, haven't you always wanted to shoot fireworks at people?
Okay, yeah, I kind of have. Let's be truthful. But I also want whatever is in your left back pocket. Because I can't just do this for free. We gotta establish an understanding. Everything you gotta trade for everything, right? Everything's got a cost.
Left back pocket.
So what is in your left back pocket?
The left breast pocket, you'll find the key. The left breast pocket, move carefully.
I want to say. Trying to think what Donnie would carry in his like those pockets because he probably carries most of his stuff in his front pockets because it's quicker to get to. Would it be appropriately weird for it to be the police officer's business card, the one who started us in on this whole thing?
Yeah, that could totally work. I thought you were gonna say an old pierogi at first. I was like, oh, that's weird. But no,
Pierogies
yeah.
are not good pocket food.
I mean, it's Donnie though. Yeah. So you reach into your pocket, and you normally don't have anything back there, and you're like, oh, and you pull out a business card, and you see the smoke demon go, oh, ooh, a piece of paper with things on it. And it kind of like pulls it into itself. And the thing kind of like bursts into smoke, and you see the imp become just a little bit bigger. What an awesome gift for an awesome person. I can do either of those things. I can't promise I'm good at aiming the fireworks, but I can definitely do it quickly.
I'm thinking that's important. I'll go back down and see what I can do down here.
Awesome.
Yeah, have fun at it.
You can have it fast, you can have it high quality, you can have it cheap. Pick two.
So this smoky imp kind of like lifts up, and eyes are almost bugging out with excitement. It's like, oh, wait till I tell the guys at the bar this is a story. And it just like flies up to the roof, and you suddenly start seeing fireworks that are just shooting down and just like exploding over this already hectic clone battle. Perfect. Love it. So I think we're gonna snap back to the truck. So I think you guys are finally kind of pulling in. You are in a similar starting to place to where the van was. There's parking spaces and little parks leading up to the front of City Hall where this kind of conflict is happening. Dwight, what are you doing?
I'm gonna pull around, and is there like a clear delineation from the steps and these Santas?
I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but basically, like the bottom steps and kind of like the walkway and road in front of them are the Santas, and then the defenders are, partially up the steps.
So obviously, my horn is the General Lee horn.
Okay.
So as I come around the corner, all you hear is and I'm just going to keep blaring that.
Love
And
it.
I say to Victor, "Hey man, just start lining those things up and chucking them."
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect. So we have the mystery mobile that's just like driving around, blaring this just crazy, awkward, like weird Christmas music that's weirdly syncing with this horn. And as you're driving around, just throwing these Molotov cocktails. Very cool. Victor, could you roll me a kick some ass roll?
Sure thing. Rolled a 10.
Awesome. Yeah, so you don't have a ton of Molotovs, but you are just nailing. And when you tons of these clone zombies, it's like straight in the face type throws. Your character, you know how to throw something, and basically they catch on fire, and it's just like this melting candy cane, sugary kind of smell, and you're taking out just chunks of these different Santas. And between the fireworks, the music from the van, and the defenders, you guys are very much just whittling down the numbers of the Santa clones. Is there anything specific any of you want to achieve at this time apart from just reducing the Santa clone numbers?
I think Dwight is trying to also bolster the city hall folks,
Cool.
so they don't rout, basically.
Cool. Are you achieving that? I think that's awesome.
So it's it's driving around and kind of acting like the best dude out there that is showing no fear.
Got it.
And I'm yelling things out there that y'all got to defend Mayberry. This is your town. This is our town. Not on Christmas. Not ever.
Love it.
And woo, woo.
I like
And
you're
I'm just
driving, yelling, and maybe got your rifle out the window, like shooting stuff
Yep.
as you're going.
Yep.
Very cool. What kind of role would you like to make? That to me seems like a help out, but it could. If you had something more kind of specific in mind, I'd definitely be open to it.
No, help out is good because I'm acting like an ass. So, and I'm
Yes,
not being
but
too cool about it. I'm being like
well,
very.
your intention though is to be calm, cool, collected, to kind of add resolve to the defenders. So
It's actually more to incite them to bolster them instead of being calm, cool, and collected. It's actually getting them
got
to
it. You're getting them like riled. Got it.
wound
Cool,
up.
cool,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Yeah. So go ahead and make me that roll.
All right. 7.
Barely. Right. So I think you encourage some of them to act recklessly. And so they actually push into the group of Santa clones, and they are being successful, but they are taking injuries. So you definitely have motivated them, but at a little bit of expense as well. So I think you guys are slowly basically battering, just irritating the crap out of these until the last Santa clone is left standing, and it kind of does this writhe, and it kind of swells up a little bit bigger, and its eyes start glowing with Christmas color tree lights. This is very much like what happened last time. Do you have something to say, EJ?
Yeah, I have an idea. EJ sees that starting to happen. I switch what we've got playing on the stereo. I pull up in front of him and crank the stereo as hard as I can. Van Halen's Eruption.
Perfect. So I think what's going to happen is the Santa kind of swells up. You know, the
I knew Steve would
defenders.
love that.
The defenders on the stairs are looking beat, battered. They're definitely, standing, but they're definitely all injured. Victor has run out of Molotov cocktails. The van is looking pretty beat up. One of the tires is sagging. There's Christmas colored ooze all over it. And this Santa stands up. You think you've done anything here? You are too late to stop my ritual. I will summon the elder being, and it will be the. And then suddenly the van slides up, power gliding in front of it, door slams open, boom, boom, and you watch the Santa reverberate in the sound, and then it just pop, explodes. Again, showering the van with even more ooze ichor of candy canes. But you have defeated the last Santa
Couldn't be
here. Awesome. So Morgan comes down. I'm guessing the Dwight pulls the truck up next to the van.
Yep.
Morgan comes up. It's a good thing you guys came. I don't know if we could have handled all of them without your support. Donnie, I'm in your debt yet again.
We ain't done yet. This was just a pre-show.
Yeah, man, we got to get going.
He's gonna look over at the defenders. I don't know if we're. He looks down. We're not in a condition to help out. I can offer some magical aid, but I don't think any of my people are gonna be able to come with you. Do you think you can handle this on your own? I guess you don't
Anybody
have a choice.
dagger?
Yeah, not really.
It's what we do, right?
Dwight waves over. Because you asked for a dagger, Victor. Did I hear you ask for? Yeah, perfect. Yep. What's gonna happen is Dwight waves over Seth, who's holding a dagger in his hands. He's got candy cane ichor kind of like all over him. He's got a gash on his chest, and he walks over. He's like, "God damn, Donnie! I thought you got me in trouble before. This is something different." But he's gonna flip the dagger over, holding it by the blade, and holds it handle out towards him.
Donnie will take it. Hey, look, I know it's ugly, but what else you gonna do?
Hey, save this town, man. My mama lives here. My family's here. All right.
Yeah, mine too.
I trust you on this. I didn't think I'd ever say that again, but I don't think there's a better person to do this job than you right now.
Well, that's why we're those guys.
I never really understood the name until now. It just seemed like kind of a stupid name, but I get it now. I'm glad you're those guys.
We were workshopping it, and we never came up with a replacement.
That actually makes a lot more sense now you're saying it. Like, I get that that's just like a place filler, like to be named later type thing. Well, I think after tonight, though, you're going to be stuck with that name because I think everyone's going to know the group, those guys. And I think Morgan is going to say, like I said, I can offer you guys some minor magical boons if there's anything specific I can do for you. But I think we're going to have to stay here and tend to our wounded.
All right.
I'll take whatever you got, man.
You need to ask for something specific. There's too many options. What would Dwight want from? Would Dwight accept anything that is magical in nature?
No.
That's why I was unsure.
Because that stuff might be connected to the turbines.
What do you think runs them turbines, man?
Don't forget, you guys also have a poultice of seeing to help identify psychic energies, as well as 3 vials of a potion that offers psychic armor or protection.
Which can also be used to destroy the thing.
can be used to basically put on weapons, or can be used either to protect you or to be used against the Ublik.
Also makes a fine salad.
Because you guys still need something that is powerful enough from a psychic disruption perspective to take out the Ubliks.
I'm gonna cut through that thing like cheese with my garrote.
Yeah, well, we got to figure out how to mess with its head first.
Isn't that what garrotes do? Is mess with your head?
No, that's the neck.
Oh, well, it's connected to the head, ain't it?
Well, yes, I know the head bone is connected to the neck bone, but you know.
There's a whole song about
Like my foot bone's gonna be connected to his ass bone in a minute.
Okay,
Well,
Red Fork.
And look,
So
Morgan, I know you you got to have your people here healing up, but you got anything that'll help us mess with this thing's head?
he snaps his fingers. I might have just the thing. And I think he's going to. Yeah, what is it? Does anyone have a cool idea? I can come up with something random, or if you guys have a fun idea, I'd totally love to use that.
That's a bane that's gonna hurt him.
Yeah, so basically in this system, what happens is everything has armor that reduces damage. Everything has hit points that you have to get through to kill it, but you have to use its bane to actually kill it. So for instance, the clones, you guys wouldn't have been able to kill the clones if you weren't, well, you did all of the stuff basically, but you wouldn't have been able to actually kill them if there wasn't some kind of sonic damage or fire. You guys would have just gotten them down to 0 health, but they still wouldn't have been eliminated. It's kind of like you can kill a vampire, but if you don't decapitate it, it's never dead. Or a werewolf, if you don't hit it with silver, it's never dead. Type. That's the kind of thing. Yeah,
mushrooms. It's allergic to mushrooms.
Actually, I'm not sure. I had 2 ideas, and I like both of them, but the one's really hard to implement because it feeds on memories.
Yep.
What if there was like some sort of, and I'm just thinking how like, you know, sometimes like snow globes just kind of bring back memories of different things or whatever. So what if they had like some sort of, and I'm thinking it like the old gumball sirens that like fire department guys used to stick on the, if they have something that's like a projecting snow globe siren thing that we could stick on top of the van or the truck. The other thing I was thinking is just because smell plays such a big part in memories, if there was some sort of like they have a giant bag of incense or something. There we go. They have some sort of incense that gives off a scent that's detrimental to it.
Love
Does that
it.
work?
Yeah,
They
so
hate the smell of
partially
hippies, so we use patchouli.
sandalwood, right? So I think what happened, because one of the things that's happening is the Ublix is basically as strong as the number of clones it has. And so while you guys just killed a big chunk of its clones, you haven't killed all of them. So it'd be even harder to kill the thing. And so I think what you're able, what Morgan is able to offer you is basically kind of like mini ritual incense holders that if you're able to set up around the Ublix is going to isolate it from its clones, which means then, you know, from psychically isolate it from the clones. And I think that will allow you to finally kill it.
Okay. That kind of fits. That works.
Does that work for you?
Mhm.
Okay, that was a really big yawn, Steve. This is a good pause moment. We've only played for like an hour and a half, but you know, we're gonna go into a big combat next. So I just want to get a sense of where are people at.
Well,
Should I keep going, or do you need to stop?
I mean, the
If we
combat
save
is going to
that
be kind of like
for last one, that would be a good last section, I think.
yeah. I think like if we were to try and do that combat now, it would probably either end up being rushed or unduly shortened.
I'm okay doing whatever the group needs or what is best for the group.
It would be good to have young Steve with the combat as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
especially with his talents.
Since he is the psychic damage that a lot of this is designed around.
Yeah, I was just thinking it would be good to have the whole group, but yes, that helps too. So I think we can probably pause because it looks like Steve's tired and the other Steve's not here, and this is going to be the ultimate finale, right? So
Yeah, does that work for everyone else? Cool. So I just want to do the quick check-in. Is this still going well for everyone? Any concerns? Any issues?
I guess that was
I
going to
got
be my
to kill
question.
people with
Go ahead, Hagen.
I said I got to kill people with music, and I knew that Steve would get a big kick out of the eruption.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to check in to make sure that I wasn't too over the top for anybody, because I know I forgot that it was supposed to be Scooby-Doo like, and I came in a little hot at the beginning.
In a way, but kind of campy too. So I felt like it worked.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to hear you describe actually garroting someone, but otherwise I didn't have major problems.
Not with me.
Were you happy with your character? So one of the things I did let everyone else do is make tweaks after they actually played and got a sense of the system in the group. Is there anything you would want to change about your guy?
Nope, everything in here works good for me.
Perfect. Then I'm pretty happy then. Is there anything I can do differently for you guys?
I think you kept the flow going well and the story moving, gave us kind of just prodded us a little bit for how we're driving the story, and you just filled in the holes.
Perfect.
Yeah, I would echo that.
Perfect. Alrighty then. Oh, sorry. The other thing we should do, I know we don't have young Steve, but I think the other thing that we should all touch base upon too is, ultimately the goal was to get back to the Star Wars campaign. And Eric, it sounds like you are now able to commit back to doing the Wednesday night gaming. I'm assuming Ricky and Hagen, you guys are still able to do Wednesday nights. So really it's young Steve would be the limiting variable at this time in terms of the Star Wars campaign. Do people like this enough that we would do potentially another mystery with these characters in this game setting as a filler if Steve is not ready to commit yet back to Star Wars?
I'd be happy to. I mean, I'm having a blast, so
Fine with me.
Yeah, it's a good time
We're
for
gaming.
That is also my thought. We could also totally do a different, rules light system. Kids on brooms or kids on bikes or teens in space are fun ones. But anyways, I'm just trying to get a sense of, do I need to start thinking about another story arc for us, just where young Steve has missed the last 2 sessions? I'm not sure. I'm just trying to get a sense of planning for me.
I mean, from my perspective, running the Star Wars, Eric, just because we ended up doing the pod racer thing and Eric having his December happen to him.
Oh, he was. Oh, got it. That was more the issue than young Steve.
Yeah, it was
Got it.
because like we're gonna do the pod race thing. We have the one guy who's the pilot. I kind of don't want to, leave him out of his thing.
Yeah, that was my bad. I'm sorry.
Oh no!
How dare you go on vacation over the holidays?
We started
No one
a game
ever
at the
does that.
holidays. We knew that was a possibility.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, then never mind. Do we just want to go back to Star Wars after this last session, no matter what? I'm fine with that too.
Looking at it that way.
Yeah, let's do that then. Unless anyone has other issues or concerns.
We'll plan for Star Wars, and if we need to adjust plans, then we.
Perfect. Sounds great to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Who all failed rolls tonight? Was it just me and Eric?
Oh, thank you for reminding me, Steve. So
Yeah,
let's do that. So let's look at XP, guys, and then we'll wrap up. If you failed any rolls, please, and just to be clear, if you use a luck point, you don't get to double dip. You don't get XP and the success roll, so the luck replaces the failure. Let's see. So I'm gonna list a bunch of questions. If we say yes to one or two of these, you guys get a XP point. If you say yes to 3 or 4 of these, you get 2 XP points. Did you guys conclude the current mystery? That's a no. Did you save someone from certain death or worse this session?
I feel
I
like
think
that's a yes.
I feel like that's a yes.
Mhm.
All right. Did we learn something new or important about the world?
Yeah, man, it flips between places, or we flip between places.
I was thinking that
we
too.
also learned that he's definitely trying to summon something big with all of what's happening to
Totally. So I'd say
Also, that
that's
he's
two.
it's like that he's tied to his clones, and his strength is based on the clones.
Love it. So this one's a little hard to navigate since we added a hunter to the game, which I think could kind of cheat a little bit. But did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters? And so what I would ask is, during role play, did we get insight to any of our characters?
I learned that Victor can be strong when he needs to be strong, even though he's not been that way before in my past experiences with him. He's always been like, because I go to hunt him because I think he's this big scary thing, and all of a sudden he's just like, "Hey man, what's going on?"
Mm-hmm.
And so, but now like he got pissed and he hulked out a bit, so it was a different side of, even though yes, I'm technically new, but I've had dealings with him in the past. I feel like that's a side that I hadn't seen of Victor before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would say that this is meant to be a little bit more of a narrative thing. I think that works, but I think actually all the stuff you did about your truck, I think that gave us a lot of insight into Dwight as a character that wouldn't have come out in a different session. So I think that was really big. And then I actually think a little bit of Donnie's interaction with the smoke demon as well as with Seth, kind of having this humanization of this I'm the tough guy type thing. I think also we're seeing some of this humanity kind of creeping into him. So I'd say that's yes to 3 of them.
Woohoo!
So everyone mark down 2 XP. If you fill up your total, level up. If you have any remaining XP points, you erase all the existing ones, and you basically start back at 0. So if you only needed 1, you would start. Basically, you'd go back to having 1 XP filled in after leveling up.
If we get 2, then that puts me at 5, and I will pick up Trust Me.
Perfect. For some reason, I want to say no to you.
So for me, I had failed 1 roll and got the 2 XP, so I'm at 3, so that just sits until future use.
Correct. And then if you fail 2 rolls next session, you can definitely use that to level up in the session. I don't care too much.
I'll make that a priority.
Yeah, well, the thing I like about this is failing allows for still some success. So in some ways you want to fail, you don't always want to be successful.
Well, and I knew before you had said you weren't that big about, or it wasn't that big of a deal for you about leveling up like during the session, and it just felt like that Impstone thing was perfect for the moment.
Loved it. I think that was awesome. I think it's such a great kind of expansion of your character who is a networker now to have someone in the mystic realm. Cool. All right. Anything else that anybody want to address tonight? Otherwise, I think we're good to go.
That was a good time.
Intro and outro music by the band 12 Noon. You can email us at meandsteverpg@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter and RPGs. Find us on Facebook at Me and Steve RPG Podcast, on Discord at Me and Steve RPGs, and as always, all of these links are in the show notes. Thank you, and be kind to one another.
How much for the cigar?
Cigar, $20, dog. You gotta go down the street to the store and buy that.